From Wall Street to Main Street to help small business owners have the same capital as corporate America and give them the same resources as a larger company. We cover business funding, business credit, scaling, business consulting, and much more. Check out the website at shieldadvisorygroup.com. Welcome to the show, The Liquid Lunch Project.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Liquid Lunch Project. I am Matthew R. Meehan, and I'm rolling solo on this one again. The professor's nowhere to be found. But anyway, the show must go on. Today, we're speaking with JM Ryerson. JM, how are you, buddy?
Brother, I'm blessed. I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me. I love the name of the show. You'll have to tell me what Liquid Lunch Project's all about. I love that.
So, man, listen, back when I was working on Wall Street, most deals got done at the bar and not in the boardroom. Right? So we would go out for lunches, and they turned out to be liquid lunches, 3-4 hour lunches, you know, the old martini lunch. So that's where that came from. So,
I know that world extremely well. I grew up in that world, so I get it, man.
Yeah. So, you know, you're going out for lunch. Next thing you know, you're speaking to somebody about a deal. Next thing you know, market's closed, and it turns out to be an early dinner. So, yeah, Luigi, who's not here, and me both worked on Wall Street. We actually worked all over Wall Street. When I say Wall Street, I mean the lower financial district, right? On Wall Street. So yeah, so that's where it comes from. So man, I'm really excited to talk to you. Tell me about the Let's Go Win process and everything that you're doing now, because I know you already exited 2 companies. Let's talk about the process and then bring us back to where this all started.
Yeah, man. So let's go win the process, if you will. What I help people do is I really help them unlock their potential. What I can see the moment they come across is like there's this abundance of talent, whether it's a leader or it's a athlete or it's an executive. And so all I really do, brother, is I help them extract what that is to let them show up as you as the name of the system. And it's really something that I learned in my professional career, that when I just show up as my authentic self, it's amazing how many great things come about. Like you're talking in those liquid lunches, man, that's when some real truth comes out. And so when you do that, when I'm able to work with people to really let them flourish as just their authentic self, their business gets better, their health gets better, their relationships get better. And so that's what I do. Now, how it started, I wrote that first book, I guess it's this side, the orange book for my kids. It's called Let's Go Win, Keys to Living Your Best Life. And next thing I know, I had people, hey man, can you coach this guy to lose weight? That was my first client. I was like, yeah, I can help. So I helped a kid lose like 80 pounds in 6 months. Hey,
That's awesome.
You helped this professional golfer, make cuts, and he had missed 12 in a row. And then he made 4 out of the next 5, hit top 50 the next season. And so it just kept taking me down this path of coaching. And I found how much I just enjoy it because it's really a simple process. My wife says it's simple to me, but people don't know about it. So that's kind of what I do, man, is just help them unlock their gifts that are already inside.
You know what it is, man? Simple, right? It's a very funny word. You know, when I was on Wall Street and everything that we do in life, most of the time it's very simple, but it's not easy, right? And you can't confuse the two. What do you find is keeping most of these people where they are? What roadblocks are they running into? It's got to start mentally, right?
For sure, brother. Mindset is, and I usually have a sign up on one of my walls, mindset matters, because that's exactly where it starts, is these self-limiting beliefs that typically we have actually inherited from mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, wherever it came from. And these things continue to show up in life. And there's some basic questions that I really try to get to ask is that true, man? That belief that you have that you're not worthy, that you shouldn't be making, 7 figures a year, that you shouldn't be the best, golfer in the world, whatever person I'm working with, it's a really basic question. Is that true? Well, no. Okay. Why do you believe it? How is that showing up in your life? And when we start to extract some of these things, now people are like, wait a minute, why do I think that way? Where did that come from? And we get into some of the stuff that we learned, we're conditioned along the way. Then I have some, as you said, they are simple, but maybe they're not easy in terms of being disciplined enough to do it every single day. And so I just set people up to take care of themselves first every single day. So we set ourselves up to win, which is the whole idea of let's go win. It's not about wins and losses. It's really not. It's about setting yourself up to win every single day. Look, I fail all the time, but I set myself up to win more often than not.
You know, I do the same thing every single. So I have 5 pillars that I believe in personally: faith, family, fitness, finance. And everybody tends to leave this one out, but it's one of the most important to me. Fun, right? Having fun with my kids, having fun with my family, traveling, because otherwise the rest of the shit just really doesn't matter.
Brother, every company that I've ever been a part of, fun has been a cultural value. In fact, so I have 3 cultural values in every single one of my companies, and fun has been one of those of all of them, because you're so right. We're not on this earth very long. And by the way, when you're having fun, you're more productive. And it's just, I love that you said that. And it's so true, man. Why we take ourselves so seriously when life's not that serious. And even when it is something that's really awful that's happened, the best way to overcome that is to find what is that lesson? What can I learn from it? And usually having fun is a big part of bringing that out.
Look who made it.
I got fashionable. Did I succeed?
You did well, my man. You were fashionably late. I think Luigi, I was just explaining what a liquid lunch was. I think Luigi's on a liquid lunch right now.
JM, don't go there, JM. You're a little long in the tooth like we are. You know what a liquid lunch is.
I had to ask, brother, because I was like, I think it's what it is. And I love that that's what it stands for. It's beautiful.
So for everybody listening, Luigi just popped in. We started the episode. We're not going to restart it. We're just going to keep diving in straight from here. So Lou, meet JM. JM, meet Lou. He was just explaining how important it is to have fun as a cultural component in your business.
I totally disagree.
All right. I love this.
I totally disagree. Look, man, JM, I got to tell you, one of the reasons Matt and I get along so well is we are like the odd couple. We're like yin and yang, so we're very different, but we also have a lot of fun at what we do. And this is a blast. Like every morning going to work is a barrel of monkeys. So yeah, I'm with you, man.
I mean, why not have a good time? You guys obviously have built some amazing companies together. You have a good time. Everything we access a creative part of our brain that isn't there if you're being that stick in the mud, man. So
I don't know if Matt already told you this, but our mantra is we take our clients seriously. We just don't take ourselves seriously. That's why everything we do is kind of wink, wink, tongue in cheek.
Well, when Matt, I love how he shows up, man. He's got that backwards hat on. He's got the cool setup. I'm like, yeah. And when I had to ask him, I'm like, tell me about liquid lunch, because I know what my liquid lunches were when I was, same thing with clients. So I love the name, boys. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry Matt overdressed today. Usually he's like in a tank top, but he wore the black t-shirt. He knew you were coming.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So talk to us a little bit, JM, about how you can instill these values into your business and inspire your team to perform better.
So one of the biggest things that people don't do or companies don't do is they don't make it intentional about these are who we are. These are the values. This is how we show up. This is how we behave. This is how you can expect. So for instance, we're talking about fun. If that's truly a cultural value, you need to be telling people that on the daily. And here's why. It's going to happen where something gets real serious. And you can look at it in one way, whereas, oh my gosh, this is a big deal and we got to freak out. No, we're going to figure it out through our cultural values. So you need to talk about it, brother. It's like one of the most basic, simple things. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. And so what I do is I give them, here's your one sheet. And it tells you exactly why you do what you do, why you exist. Here's how we behave. Here's our cultural values. And here's what we're trying to do, because life happens, man. We are going to get interrupted. We're going to have, a flat tire. Our girlfriend's going to break up with us. Our dog's going to die. Like the country song's going to play. And we need to be able to know exactly, all right, we got derailed for a second, but this is who we are from the core, no matter how much we get tested. And we've seen it when markets collapse and bad stuff happens. Those companies that are real clear on who they are from a cultural value standpoint, they thrive through that. They don't get crushed.
JM,
well, listen, you you were in the securities game like I was, and we've seen the markets collapse in 2008. We've seen markets go down, right? Even if you're the highest performing producer or you're the highest performing athlete, something like that happens that's outside of your ability to fix, it knocks you down mentally, right? And you create more limiting beliefs about yourself. Oh, maybe I just got lucky. Maybe I wasn't that good. So give us some tips on how you can overcome these limiting beliefs.
Yeah, brother, even the way you explain that and verbalizing it, if you heard what Matt said, is it was outside of my control. That market collapsing, whether it was in the early 2000s, 2008, what we're kind of seeing a little bit right now, it's like, did you change? Did anything about you change? No, nothing changed. The market did. So why would you take confidence away from yourself when it's outside of your control? We have control of two things, in my opinion. And that's it. We have total control of our attitude and our activity. And every day, rate yourself. How was yours? So the market sucks. Okay. Do I need to increase my activity in order to not get crushed? Probably so. That's what I had to do with my company. And here's the crazy part. I don't know about you boys, but when it crashed, our company actually accelerated. And here's why. We had to get better. When we were making all this money, everything was cool. We weren't worried about being that much better at our craft. When that market went down, that's a time to grow because it's uncomfortable. So, brother, it's just, things outside of your control, don't worry about it. You have no control over it anyway. Take care of you and the rest will take care of itself.
JM, you're bringing a lot to the table, and for some of us, it may be a while for us to absorb this, but inherent in everything you're saying is a lot of quotidian good habits and routines. Walk us through how important it is for an entrepreneur, a parent, a student, anyone to walk of life to create those ABC routines. I forgot who it was said once, but it said, if the first part of the day is making your bed, and usually that gets you off on the right start. So walk us through the importance of having those routines.
Yeah, I love that question, Luigi, because it is so true. And discipline allows for freedom. So if you have the discipline to take care of yourself first, great things are going to happen. You mentioned making your bed. There was I can't remember his name, but he did the talk, and it was make your bed and the rest, because you've accomplished one thing, how great it goes. That's not my process. I'm actually not a bed maker. But for me, I'm about a 2.5 hour a day guy that I take care of my mind, my body, and my soul before I showed up today so I can be the best version of me. Now, 2.5 hours is ridiculous. I know that. And I understand.
If anyone could see your hair, they could realize it took 2 hours just to get that nice comb over. I mean, this is like Hollywood caliber. You'd have to have like a hairstylist back there somewhere.
Just for you, brother. That's all aloe vera in there. But no, it is one of those things that what I coach my clients on is 3 things. Take care of your mind, your body, and your soul, and take 15 minutes, 5 for each, and just so you can show up as the best version of you. And the interesting thing, brother, I see so many people burning both ends of the, and it's gonna end poorly. You have to feed your soul. You have to feed your body and your mind so you can be the best parent, the best employee, the best employer, the best brother, whatever hat you're wearing. And it's a simple process, but as Matt said earlier, it's not easy because it's way easier to wake up and look at my cell phone and start scrolling, or to go take care of the kids first. You have to take care of you first so you can be the best version of you.
So JM, I know you had a lot of success in financial services, which in my opinion, if you could make it in financial services, you could probably make it in any industry out there because it's just so cutthroat. But why don't we talk about that? Tell us what you have done in the past and why people should actually really be listening to you right now.
Brother, I created a pretty amazing life for my family and I did so in that I've been able to travel the world, for a kid from Montana, an amazing amount of money that I never expected to. And I've been able to do essentially whatever I wanted when I wanted. And to me, freedom is the most important thing. And so that's my value. You talked about your F's, freedom, fun are also in mine. And what I learned about being an entrepreneur is no one could tell me where I had to be at what time, how much money I could make. And that was really attractive to me because I don't like being told what I can or cannot do. I've learned that about myself. And so as I built these companies, what I found, Matt, is I had more fun helping others obtain a life they never thought they could create themselves. There's so much more. It's what gets me out of bed is when I see somebody say, I'm only worth $50,000, but in all reality, they're a $500,000 a day or a year guy, and you can see it. They just can't. And when you can help them unlock that, it just fills my bucket more than anything I've ever done. So I don't know if that answers your question, but for me, it's allowed freedom and fun, and my family has been able to thrive, and it's just been a great ride, man. I've been able to help a lot of people along the way and have some amazing relationships because of it.
JM, everything we've discussed so far, I think there's one underlying character trait that I'd love for you to expand upon, whether it's the mission of your company, the clarity of your communications, that wake up and I am an entrepreneur and I'm going to figure this out. Self-confidence is the keystone there. Matt and I struggle with this all the time with some of our sales staff, and some of them, they're really articulate and they know the product, they're really sharp, but when they're on the phone, they're just a little bit tentative, and to me, that comes from self-confidence. What can the typical human do to boost that self-confidence?
Yeah, it's a great question, brother. And I love this because those people that are not being self-confident on the phone, they're actually hurting their clients, even as they're hurting themselves. So it's really selfish, man. When you're not self-confident, now you're hurting other people. And if you can get people to understand that, fine, let's not make it about you. Make it about the fact that you're not helping your clients right now because you're not able to make a proper phone call, that you're not able to really help them. That's selfish. You don't want to be selfish, right? The answer is always going to come back no. So to answer your question in terms of how do we build that, we keep accountable to ourselves. You mentioned making your bed. It's one task that you can say, all right, I'm going to make my bed today. And if I get up and I do it, guess what? I'm chalking up a win. Here's the other thing that is so basic and easy that everyone can do right now that will boost your confidence. You can focus on the positives. You can focus on the negatives. When you have an attitude of gratitude, when you practice that gratitude, when you see the amazing things in your life and you focus on it, your confidence rises. Because if you're constantly thinking about how I'm overweight, I don't have enough money in the bank, my relationship sucks, guess what? You're right. But if you could say, actually, I'm really healthy and my relationship just has a couple challenges that we're working on, but I love my wife, and whatever the other thing is that you focus on the positive, that starts to ratchet up. But that's a habit, as you mentioned before. That's something that has to be practiced because we coming out of the womb, it's not like, hey, focus on the positive. That's easy. No, man, that's something that you have to work on. You have to be clear, like, I value the great things in my life. And when you do, your confidence rises with it.
GM, you ever realize how when someone is not successful at something or happens to fail, darn, I was unlucky. But when someone is hyper successful and they've just kicked it, it was just, hey, man, I just worked hard. Kind of walk us through the import of luck in all of it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who it was that said the harder I work, the luckier I become. I've found the harder I work, the luckier I am. It is interesting how people choose to see people as I'm a victim or I'm a victor. It's two schools of thought, right? When somebody else succeeds, the first thing you should do is say, awesome job, man, that's amazing. Because now you're bringing that into your world. And you're no longer saying that they're so lucky, they got the lucky breaks. You're giving them their credit because you don't know all they went through. That's the funny thing about everybody that you see that's successful. You have no idea what they went through to get there. And everybody wants to have that, the car or the mansion or the boat, whatever it is. You don't know what it took to get there. So instead of coming from a place of envy, come from a place of seeking to understand. Hey, Lou, you clearly have crushed it, brother. How did you do that? Can you talk to me about your experience and learn from them? That's the best and fastest way for us, and why mentors are so invaluable to you is if you say, hey, how did you get there? They're going to tell you a crazy story and all the challenges they went through, which is going to inspire you to do the same.
Yeah, one of my friends, Ryan, has a saying. He calls them reporters and supporters, right? You have the people that are reporting and waiting for you to fall down. All they do is report everything. And then you have the people that are really reaching out and supporting you along your journey.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, honestly, and it feels good when your buddy crushes it. And instead of saying, oh, I wish, no, you say, that's amazing, brother. Congratulations. You can feel the transfer of love and emotion in a positive way. It makes them feel good. You feel good, instead of saying, oh, Todd always gets the breaks. Todd's always the lucky one, which is saying, woe is me. Let me be the victim, and let me tell you why I am not Todd, instead of saying, you know what? Todd worked his ass off and he is a badass. Congratulations, Todd.
I think that's a pretty valid point. I can tell you from my personal experience growing up in my house, it was, oh, they got money. Oh, money goes to money. We don't own Con Edison. Close the door, right? But those were things that were instilled in us to me and the rest of my family at a young age. And just, yeah, they have it. Not that we can get it too, or we can move forward. So I truly do believe that if you have that mind shift and you can overcome what you were taught as a child to move forward.
Yeah, brother, my biggest self-limiting belief in my early 20s, I've been my mid-20s, I guess, when I made 7 figures for the first time in a year, you would think that would be a moment of celebration. I felt horrible about myself. I didn't feel good about what I had accomplished because of all those things that my parents are amazing. Let me be clear. But my dad would always say, oh, that's for the pretty people. If you drive this car, that's for anyone else. Somehow money became a bad thing, and I brought that in. Well, guess what? My dad learned that lesson from his dad, and he learned it from his dad. So now we're talking generations, like back in the early 1900s, and I'm going to let that affect my mindset? No, man, I'm going to stop that right now. That pattern is done. Making money is just, it's a thing. Great job. Go do something great with it. Go help somebody with a charity. Go build an amazing company, which gives opportunities for others. If you can reframe it in your mind to say, I can do that. And by the way, it's just a tool that I can do to create something pretty amazing. Now you're going to feel great about making 7, 8 figures, whatever it is per year. And by the way, it's not all about money. So we're clear, but it is one of those beliefs that it comes out in a lot of us because of our backgrounds.
So your first book was Let's Go Win. Talk to me about the second book.
Second book is literally what Luigi was talking about earlier with routines. What I decided a long time ago when I started Let's Go Win, I was like, look, I want everyone to have access to me. Now, can everyone afford to hire me as a one-on-one coach? Probably not. But if you pick up the Champions Daily Playbook, it literally is how I walk my clients through, so that in 90 days, if you set a goal and you follow it for 90 days, if you can commit and be disciplined for 90 days to do that, which takes about 5 minutes every single day to do it, you will accomplish that goal. And it was just something I wanted the masses to have access to, because this is just information. If you're willing to hold yourself accountable, you will accomplish that goal.
So JM, why don't you tell the audience how they can get in touch with you, where they can find the book, or if they could reach out to you on any of the socials?
Yeah, brother. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for having me. You guys are awesome. Letsgowin.com. You can find all the books, or it's on Amazon too. Let's Go Win podcast. That's what we're doing today. This is what I'm passionate about, man. I love being on the other side and asking questions, and you guys did such a great job. And then Let's Go Win 365 on any social media platform. So I'd love to hear from your listeners, and boys, I just appreciate you having me. You guys are awesome.
JM, before I let you run, I have one question for you. If somebody was to start something new tomorrow, what is the most important thing, the one thing that they could do starting tomorrow morning in order to get themselves moving in the right direction?
So I said it earlier, and I don't mean to be redundant, but it's literally get up and take care of you first. Your mind, your body, soul. Move your body. That's going to start it. Then read a book or whatever you want to do, brain games for your mind. And then whether it's meditation, which is what I do, take a walk in the mountains, read the Bible. I don't care. Fill your soul. And if I can add, Matt, also be clear on why you're doing it. That new business, why? How is that going to affect your life? That why is going to get you out of bed every single morning. So just get clear on that as well.
JM, thank you so much for being here. Guys, that's a wrap of the Liquid Lunch Project. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the show. And make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. We'll see you on the next episode of the Liquid Lunch Project.